Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of Houston, We Got a Problem. I am your host. I am Javia. I live in Hawaii right now, so that's where I'm recording from. Sorry, I'm not in cold Chicago. But yeah, so in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about part 2 of the obligatory relationship, in which we discuss preferences, if society has shaped the way we see the opposite sex, gender roles, and all of those things. So first, I'm going to have you guys introduce yourself. Let's get started.
Hi, I'm Lakeithia. I'm currently residing in LaGrange Highlands, Illinois, like a suburb from Chicago. It's still very cold here, not like Hawaii, unfortunately. It's probably in the teens. But anyways, fun fact about me, I've been married for 3.5 years, and I'm currently being terrorized by a 2-year-old. Hey, Madison.
Hey, Madison.
Maddie.
So hi, I'm Sade. I'm currently located in Hawaii, and a fun fact about me is I like to travel. I've been to numerous countries, and I speak 2 languages. Annyeonghaseyo, hola. That's it.
Okay.
My name is Shai. I'm also in Hawaii. I don't know what's interesting about me. Kind of boring. I'm a boring person.
Got it up. And I know that for a fact.
Just say you make friends easily. Easily.
I get told what to do.
Our friends are boss.
I get told what to do. That's your fun fact?
Yeah, I get told what to do.
You can say you like Animal Crossing.
See, she's telling you what to do.
Giving you suggestions. You don't have to follow them.
She has a cute eyeglass collection. Those are cute.
Mm-hmm. You can say you picked up roller skating.
Ooh.
Yeah, I just picked them up. I have it.
You haven't actually roller skated yet.
I know, right?
She went down the street.
I went down the street.
She carried them down the street.
Almost ate it a couple times.
The start.
All right, I'm good.
Hi, my name is Tamara Parker, and I live in Bonita Springs, Florida. My fun fact is I have a twin sister. We're before and after midnight, and my mom didn't know she was having twins.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, that's my fun fact.
So you have different birthdays.
Yeah, different birthdays.
That's cool.
And again, I'm Javia. I am in Hawaii, and my fun fact is that I am taller than my boyfriend. No, I'm just playing. I'm not taller than him. But I'm almost taller than him. Okay.
It's the hair.
Okay, so my first question, it doesn't matter which order you guys answer it in. My first question today would be, do you think society has had a hand in shaping what we like through music and through TV?
Absolutely. From news to social media revenues, thing. Absolutely. I think that we tend to glorify music videos, a lot of the dance routines that we learned in our younger years. We got all of that from videos that we saw.
Records.
Even now to this day, new music videos. Look, TikTok is a hit. Everybody's doing the same dance in various ways. Still getting
all over the world, yeah. Even in a different country, they're doing the same dance. It's interesting you asked that because even in our message today, our pastor talked about how we look at the world in their relationships, and we want our relationships to be like our celebrities, and we know all about their business. So I think that, yes, the media plays a vital role in a lot of the decisions that we make as people, and our thoughts and our opinions.
Wasn't there this thing called like a Disney syndrome? You know, as we're growing up, we kind of like look at how the princesses and the princes kind of interact, and like, oh, we romanticize that type of cartoonish love. And then we only see the kind of good in our parents or anyone that's in our circle at that time when we're growing up, and we're just like idolizing that type of situation that they're in, but not really knowing in detail or how they got to this loving point or the trials and tribulations they went through to get to from A to B. So I think the world in general influences us. I definitely agree with you and Lakeithia. Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, Sade, because I never wanted to get married or have kids because all of my mom's side of the family, everybody was divorced except for two of my uncles. And I was like, yeah, I'm not with it. I don't want to bring kids into that situation. I totally agree with that.
I do. I like that you brought up the Disney complex because I curse Disney now because that happily ever after and you get on
Not real.
like, yeah, this is not real. It's not real. You're gonna go through some real things, and there are gonna be times where you both can't stand each other, but you work through it. Definitely, Disney didn't portray that. Disney era. You lied.
Lakeithia, I'm not watching the Hallmark movie network either. Like, I get mad watching those movies and then I get sad because Morrison get me flowers or chocolate or I'm like, this is so stupid. I'm gonna stick with my suspense movies and thrillers because
no, I'm still with Hallmark.
That's more real.
I need Hallmark sometimes during the holidays.
During the holidays only.
Yes, only holidays. No, but it's like I really thought, y'all remember High School Musical? I've never watched, I think it was like 3 movies. I've never watched it, but I've seen the impact that it had like culturally. And I'm like, oh, high school is going to be just like this when I go. It's just like that. You just have a sense of like what it's supposed to look like. And then when you get there, you're just like, oh, this is it. This is what, ain't nobody singing, ain't nobody dancing on top of tables. Like, we not matching? Like, okay. And then you have like Instagram, and I'm all for positivity because no one wants to hear about negativity 100% of the time. So it's like those Instagram babes and Instagram goals. Like, yeah, I like to aspire to that in a relationship, but I know realistically there's going to be we're going to have some backdoor conversations, but we're not going to broadcast all the bad in our relationships.
Yeah, people only show the fun stuff. They don't show the craziness. Well, some people show the craziness, but most of the time it's it's only the good parts that you get to see from people on social media.
I was with my nieces over the weekend, and oh my God, we took 10 photos to get the right photo so they could post it. Like, it's different. Like everybody's
to
posting.
get approved.
God, do not say anything about when we went to Miami and we were taking pictures. Shy is like my photographer when we travel. And so we went to Miami and she's taking all these great, amazing pictures of me, like dope. And then I was like, oh, let me return the favor and take pictures of you. Those pictures never got posted. It was terrible. I was ashamed. Like, I felt bad for her. And she was like, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Well, you didn't know how to take photos, Jay, or she just didn't like them?
Both.
I would say the prior. Like, she couldn't like them because
it's
they
fun.
were terrible.
I just thought it was funny.
But I tried so hard. Like, I would like get on the ground and then I'll like try to get
I'll help her out.
All about the egg.
How to frame it.
So I think we're dealing with society. My issue is society just doesn't let people be. It's like, it's a problem if girls wear their hair curly versus straight. It's a problem if you're light versus dark. It's a problem whether you have children or you're not, single versus married. I feel like society try to keep us boxed up to where we can't be ourselves, and we're always comparing ourselves to the next person or how someone looks, or even thick versus skinny. Like there are a lot of women who are unhappy with their body shape or their body size, and they're always trying to do things to fix it. It's one thing being healthy. I know that many of you work out, go to the gym, run, do all of that. That's fine. It's another when you have to look at magazine covers and videos and you go get all this work done and because you want to look a certain way. If you're doing it for you, kudos to you. But a lot of times when I see that, even in movies, like I said, the love stories, like The Notebook is one of my favorite movies. It is so romantic, but that does not happen in real life. No. The Lion King, that's one of my favorite.
Oh, your bird. your bird, Javia. Your bird.
But yeah, like I don't know. I feel like society has a hand in creating what it wants us to believe and what it wants us to see. And then we get into relationships with people and we try to act that out instead of finding our own way with our person. Or we compare our relationships to our friends' relationships or something like that. Or we want our guy to act like someone else's guy. And it's like, no, just be happy with the person you chose and let them be happy with you.
We have this expectation, this unspoken expectation that the guys don't even know about. Like, they don't even know that we have this unspoken expectation and we mad and sad and feeling some type of way. And they're like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, nothing. Clearly there's something going on. But I watched a movie and Morris told me I'm not allowed to watch. I'm not allowed to watch chick flicks, love movies, because I have attitude. And then I have to like get myself together. But it's true. I'm shallow.
And don't let us go on a friend couple trip and ask you to open the door for you, but then I'm like,
why you don't do that for me?
Mm-hmm. But it's like, do we communicate our love language? I think now that we're older and people are talking about it more, because I've never really heard love language growing up, but now like Instagram is helping, Google helps, but what are our love languages and like what are we communicating to our significant others to let them know like, hey, I like flowers. I don't care what kind of flower you get, but I like a flower on Sunday. Or I like my doors to be opened. Or that paycheck that when we go out to dinner is not going to be picked up by me. That bill is yours. That's just an example. That's an example. Okay.
No, you're right though, Sade. Like what Morris and I have been married for 13 years and we've been together for 16 or 17. And what we've learned through the years is we have to have those hard conversations. Like they're vital and they're healthy and you can grow from there. And that's what I tell every friend that's married, single, whatever, like say what you need to say. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So be tactful because he's going to have a response and he's going to have a rebuttal and he's going to have a feeling too. So just be mindful of that. But that's the key, just being able to voice those expectations, those hard conversations, and growing together. Which is,
I like that. Good job.
Yep. I would agree.
I'm going to change it up a little bit. I want to know 5 of your preferences. What are 5 of your preferences? It can be old or it can be right now. But what were some preferences that you have or that you have had regarding the opposite sex?
He had to be chocolate. A chocolate, tall, fun, charming, goofy man.
Okay.
Although, like in middle school, I like this white boy. Like, oh my God, I was in love with him. I did. And then I liked light-skinned boys for a little phase, but as I grew up, I was like, no, I like the chocolate boy.
Shout out to the chocolate man.
Yeah.
Preferences. You definitely had to be funny. You had to be funny. There had to be some level of attraction, some loyalty, respectful. I wasn't one of the things that I hated. Please don't try to call me out my name because, ooh, that was a trigger. So you definitely have to be respectful. Like that was a trigger. Like to this day, it still is. My husband, no, don't even call, not even Goofy, nothing. My name is Lakeithia. That was a trigger. Yeah, and loyal. I needed somebody that was like loyal for sure, and in terms of preferences.
I feel the same way. Like I prefer a tall person, like a tall man. But I'm okay with whatever height. It doesn't matter to me. Like height isn't a thing. But if you're tall, I'm just like, you just pique my interest a little bit more. And you have to be humorous. Like I just want to laugh all the time. Like I know it's not like a ideal thing, but even if we get mad, I want to be able to like make up and like laugh at the end of the day. You had to be reliable. Well, you still have to be. I want a reliable man and a family-oriented man. And then someone with good teeth,
Important. Good teeth are important.
Good teeth,
Good teeth.
Good, like, come on now. They're going to be smiling. I mean, I'm okay if, you go to the dentist and we can work on that. But if you just not going, like, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Takes care of themselves, yeah.
Like, exactly. A well-groomed man. That's what I'm saying. Well-groomed.
Chad, what were your preferences?
They have to be taller than me because I'm like 5'1", so I like taller guys too. I like them to be affectionate and like to have fun and go on adventures, like travel. That's pretty fun. I like facial hair. Yeah.
My preference were tall, although I have dated men that was shorter than me and at my height. Fun fact, my boyfriend will tell you he's 6 feet and he's definitely not. He's like, yeah, Lakeithia and Mara, both of y'all know. Yeah. It's more like 5, 6.5. He could be 5'8" when he wear boots, you know what I'm saying? But he's definitely not 6 feet. Honest is one of them. Like I would rather have a guy be honest than to play with my feelings or leave me on. Back in the day, I was really into light-skinned men with tats. So you had to be handsome, light-skinned, and have tats. Whew. And then just faithful, which in the past, we date those guys who aren't or who can't be, but that was one of my preferences back in the day. I'd like to say that God has delivered me and humbled me because my boyfriend now has no tats at all. He does not drink at all. And he's not that tall, but he's very funny. He's awesome. Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm gonna make a little sign that says cute every time she blushes. Cute.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
It's a Disney fairy tale right here.
I know, right? Hold on.
I know.
Love it.
Oh, but you know what, Mom? I'm gonna put Disney on the back because that sounds Disney-ish.
Oh yeah.
Really? Is that? Oh, I see how we going. Okay.
No, but I love it though. You know what? I love when people are regardless of like how they got to the relationship or what they may be going through, but I love when people like love their significant other, Like I enjoy when people like really gush about, their man or their woman. Cause I'm just like, oh, it just makes it like, okay, so there are people out there that really enjoy being in relationships and, and they're the ride or die with their partner. So I'm all about that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's important for people to see that when things are going bad, the media will highlight that. Gonna point that out. But if you're doing good, you're not hearing about it. And especially for the Black community, we need to see that. They need to know that it is real. That you can have a successful marriage, you could date. It could be real and healthy. Healthy.
Yes. And couples therapy is a good thing, you know?
Yes, shout out to all the therapists.
Hey.
I agree. Even marriage retreats, like we go to them for fun, and people at work are like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, we just want to keep it healthy and strong."
Mm-hmm.
Spice it up.
Hey.
Let's talk about expectations in a relationship. What are some of your expectations of the opposite sex while being in a relationship? So I'll go first. My general expectation is just for him to be who he is and keep his word. Like, I have no expectations except for that. If you tell me you're going to do something, I'm going to expect you to keep your word and do it. But as far as expect you to open doors, to me, that's a luxury, because not all men open doors or think to open doors for women. It's like they're one track minded. They get in the car, they do their thing, expect that you'll be okay. I don't expect him to get me flowers on every birthday or Valentine's Day or any of that. I don't celebrate holidays. So there's not an expectation. I guess, yeah, my only expectation would be that you be who you are. Like, don't attempt to be more than what you are to impress me, because I'm simple. Just be who you are. And from you being who you are is going to let me know if we're a good fit or not.
I expect consistency, you know.
Expect what, Shade?
Consistency.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I just expect you to be consistent and not play with my feelings, especially when I'm trying to be open and vulnerable. Because it's really hard for me to like tell you how I feel and express myself that way. So when I start pulling down those layers, I expect you to be consistent with like how you treat me, how you are in our relationship. And however we define that to be, that's what I want it to be, you know.
I definitely like the fact that you pointed out that consistency part, because that's so important. You know, you want somebody to be consistent. You want stability. When all women want stability, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
To add on to that, I like learning and communicating with my husband, learning to communicate effectively. That became an expectation. You know, like we're gonna disagree, absolutely, but we need to learn to do it in an effective manner, like hear each other. So that's what I'm expecting now. You know, I'm expecting my husband to have my back, you know, to lead our household, to help out, you know, with the kids. Every now and again, we're Wonder Woman. Women, there's no better being, but we get tired, and so I want some help sometimes.
I agree.
I expect, you know, again, that respectfulness, and I just respect you to just honor our relationship. Let me know that that's important in our family.
So I noticed you said kids.
Oh, girl, no. It only matters. The future, you know what? In God's will, I want Madison to have a sibling, but there's no sibling right now. So I'm speaking that into existence because I do want her to have a sibling. But no. It's only one, Madison.
Okay.
I expect like good communication from between the both of us and listening. Listening is an art.
It is.
I can hear you, but like, am I really listening to what you're saying? So I expect listening, and I also expect, like, if you're walking by me, not to just walk by. Can you grab me or something, or like get my attention? Don't just walk by me.
Do a butt smack.
Whatever.
That's what she really meant to say.
Okay.
She wants it smacked and grabbed.
Oh my gosh. Mara.
Well, I think everybody summed it up. Fun, I expect. I guess I'm goofy, so I just want to have fun all the time. But also to know that you are safe and I'm safe, and I can be vulnerable and naked with you, like Sade said. It's simple.
What do you guys think is the role of the woman in a relationship or marriage?
I feel like that's hard to kind of, for me, to define because each marriage is different. So the woman, like I always believe the woman is the neck, you know, so whatever she does, the man should follow in suit. But I feel like that looks different in each relationship. And we shouldn't be so pigeonholed to this is what a woman is expected to do in a marriage, because that might, I don't know, you might, what did we talk about before? We're typecasting us, we're pigeonholing us, we're boxing us into an idea of a relationship or what a woman should be in a relationship. So I feel like it should be what the man and the woman define to be true to them. And then I think that makes for a healthy relationship.
I agree with you, Sade. Before I took my new role at the place that I currently work at, we had to have a conversation because Morris has to pick up the kids every night. He does homework, he feeds them, he gives them baths. So I'm literally probably walking the door about 6:37 every evening, and he's done everything. And if I didn't meal prep, which I usually don't, because I'm not as responsible as I should be, he has to cook dinner too. So when my mom and grandma came for a month and Morris was washing dishes, and when we had our youngest, he was changing Pampers, my grandma was like, what is he doing? I said, what do you mean? Like, he changing the baby? She's like, your grandfather didn't change any pamper. I said, well, Granny, you got to be at home with him, respectfully. You got to be at home, and Grandpa went to work. So yes, he is doing all these things. And honestly, like, I will say I'm very fortunate because I think the only thing I really do is fold laundry and put it away because Morris does everything. And I get slack about it from a lot of people, but it works for us. And I know his love language is acts of service. So I work hard sometimes to help with dishes and clean the bathrooms and stuff like that, because I don't want to take him for granted either. And I have, which has caused tension, obviously, but it's hard to define gender roles because the women, we are working as many hours as the men are. And we're also involved in social activities, and depending on your career, like, you have to travel. So I don't know if you can put a gender role on it like it used to be when my grandmother and grandfather got married, because that's not the way of the world anymore.
I would agree. My mom and grandma are often talking about things that I don't do in my marriage that they do. For example, early in college, Dwight and I learned that I'm just not good at washing clothes. I ruined his very expensive jeans. And so from that point on, he never lets me wash his laundry. And we're okay. Like, we do separate laundry and we're okay with that. We are definitely. But I think that they have changed. We're not like we used to be in terms of our ancestors in our past in 1950s and 70s. We've changed. It has evolved. And so I believe, like, everybody just do their part. Where I lack, you pick up. Where you lack, I will pick up. And she's happy with
cute. I know. Like, she's like, yes.
Shout out to Madison, because she said y'all are not going to do a podcast without me.
Great.
Shy.
Yes.
Gender roles, women.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about it. Like, trying to think. I feel like I do a lot more cleaning and the laundry and all that, but I think I work as hard. He works labor, like hard, like concrete, so I feel like he's super tired when he gets home. I mean, you know how we work at work. It's not that labor intensive, so I don't know. I feel like I do take on a lot of cleaning the house, making sure like we have something to eat for dinner.
So I guess I'm gonna sum it up into what it says biblically. So biblically, it tells the husbands to love their wives, and it tells us to honor and reverence them. And I believe that all of you guys gave excellent points on how you guys reverence, honor, and respect the person that you're with or that you're destined to be with. Because, like, now, yeah, in 2021, we all got to work. I mean, there's some women who are blessed with people, you know, rich, basketball players, football players, you know, all of that. Their finances are taken care of, so they have more time in the home to do things. But when you're a woman that works and have children and do all of that, it's more of a partnership. And it differs between each relationship, as all of you guys pointed out. And what works for one group, it might not work for the next. So kudos to all of you women for finding out what works for you and how it works and how to have a stable relationship with the men in your lives or the future guy who will be in your life. Yeah. Okay, so must-haves. What are a couple of must-haves that your husbands or future husbands must have in order to have a successful or a happy marriage?
Give an example, Javia.
So for an example, because I believe in God, because I believe in Jesus Christ, my husband must have a Christ-like or God-like character. Now let me say this. Sometimes it's not easy dating someone or being married to somebody with godly character or Christ-like character. It's like sometimes I talk to my boyfriend and he'll just want to pray. And there are times when I've left him praying while I went to sleep because I was tired. And or he'll want to discuss his favorite scripture, and I'm like, yeah, can we talk about something more interesting or something fun? Like I'm not always sensitive to what he wants to talk about when it's always about God. However, whenever I need him in a situation or whenever I'm not feeling my best, or he reminds me of what the Bible says, he reminds me of prayer, he prays with me, he reads the Bible with me, like he does it all. And I really appreciate him for that, because that is a must-have on my list. Like, we need to have the same faith and we need to believe in the same God, so that when you're down, I can pray for you, I can lift you up in scripture, I can do all of that, and vice versa. Another thing that he must have is the heart and character to lead. So we hear a lot on social media, in movies and all of that, that a guy should lead the relationship and all of that. But a guy can't lead if he doesn't know where he's going. Like, he can't lead you if he's unsure of himself, or he doesn't know where he needs to be, or he isn't attuned to where you are in life. Because then you just got two people leading a relationship and y'all might go in different directions. But having the character to lead and the heart to lead, it involves submission on both parts. It involves trusting of both parts. It involves all of those things. And then he must be trustworthy. Like, I got to feel like when I tell you a secret, that your family or your friends won't know what it is that we talk about in private. Because it's more of you're covering me, I'm covering you. And that's flaws in everything. Like, I have vulnerabilities just like the next woman. I have fears like the next woman. I have all of those things. But if I'm confiding in you, it's because I believe that you are a person who can handle the secrets that I'm giving you or what I'm telling you. So stuff like that. Those are must-haves that I need in order to have a successful marriage or a successful relationship. It's like communication. I need you to be open and honest where you are at all times. A relationship that doesn't have communication, it won't work at all. Because it'll be one person talking at the other person who's not receptive to hearing, listening, or understanding. It's like, I need you to effectively communicate where you are. If I'm talking to a stone wall, I can't get through to you. You can't get through to me if I'm giving you the silent treatment. Like, we have to be open and honest at all points to know where each other is at every stage in our life. Because truth be told, what we liked in college we might not like right now. And what we like 5 years from now will be different from where we are now. So as long as we're communicating and we're on the same page and being honest, like, I believe that is what will make a successful relationship.
Agreed. I put Jesus. Like I needed Morris to know Jesus personally because I do, and I need him. So I need you to need him as much as I do. And then a job. Those are must have.
Them bills ain't gonna pay themselves.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
And I like to live the lifestyle that I live, so that's important.
I would definitely piggyback on that. A job, a reliable source of income is very important. JB, I agree. I want someone that's God-fearing. Going into my marriage, that was something that I communicated very, strongly. Because, I was building my faith. I wanted to just be like-minded, make sure that we were on the same page. Family-oriented, I always grew up that family was important, but I wanted to see it in a healthy way. And so that person also has to have that desire that, okay, the family that we create, that comes first. And then, just being dependable. I needed, growing in this marriage, I needed my husband to know that I would be there, but I also needed to feel like I could depend on him. So one of the things he'll always say is, keep it, we got to match. We got to match. And I need to feel like I can depend on my partner. At the end of the day, it's us against the world. And I take that to the heart.
I'm just going to add on to that because everyone said beautiful things. So I'm just going to say, I just kept thinking safe, of course, in my mind, he's going to have a job. He's going to be financially stable. He's going to be family oriented. He's going to be spiritual. But I just want to feel safe, And once I feel safe, then everything else should fall into place. Because I've been in relationships and I've dated guys where they've had all these things, and I'm just I just didn't feel safe, So I think that's one of the things that I'm really looking for. And then he's a good cook. He has to cook 100% of the time. I'll wash the dishes, but he has to cook.
100%.
I'll do those dishes.
100% of the time.
No, I'm 100% of the time he's cooking. Okay?
It exists, I don't cook.
I'm just saying, no, because I've dated, one of my requirements in looking for a guy is that he cooks. And 90% of the time, the guy that I like or, he cooks. So I'm just we're done. Okay, let's I'll go wash the dishes. I'll bring a salad. Let's do this.
So do you make dessert, Sade?
I'll make dessert.
Compromise, that's it.
Exactly.
I agree with all of you. I kind of have all the same stuff that you guys mentioned. Maybe I'll add on thoughtfulness. It's a must-have. It's nice to have someone that thinks of you. It's they're gonna eat this thing, but they're oh, do you want a bite? So I like that sharing, thoughtfulness. Must have.
Just a bite. Just gonna give you a bite.
I mean, they're sharing.
Give you the whole thing. Here, my love. I offered this platter that I was about to consume too.
Baby steps.
That whole idea of that last piece, you just reminded me of. Wasn't there this thing where I want this man to give me the last piece of his food?
Oh, that movie.
Was that a movie?
Yes.
What movie?
Play that game. Did you play that game?
Was it?
I don't know.
It was with Gabrielle Union.
Who can play that game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then if he didn't give her the last piece of his food, then it wasn't real.
Facts.
I go back and That goes back to media shaping our
Shaping our views, yeah.
But you know what? I do know that the husband will get the big piece of chicken. Like that's like a Southern staple. So if I'm frying chicken and I got like 2 little kids on the side, my husband, who has worked a long, arduous day, will get that big piece of chicken. So
I never knew that.
yeah.
Can you order? Can you order the chicken, Sade?
I will cook the chicken. I'm not ordering chicken. That's my. I have like this little, like a little side note. I have this little issue of ordering chicken. Like I don't like ordering chicken. It's just too complicated. I'd rather make the chicken than like go to KFC or Pollard's or wherever and order chicken.
So I get the story. What happened, Shadi?
Nothing. It's just I go in there and I just feel overwhelmed, and I'm just like, oh, there's just dark meat, white meat. It's just too much. I can just go to a grocery store and get like party wings or something and just like make the chicken. Like it's just a thing. Like Chick-fil-A is a number 1. Got it. But Feather and Fins, it's just my brain just stops working. I don't know. I can't order chicken. Like that's a thing.
Let me just say, I'd be so happy when men offer their food, because you know they don't really want, like they really want you to say no, but I'm not that person that says no.
And I take it.
About it. Yeah, like I take it because you offered it to me.
You offered, yeah. And
sometimes what they order might look better than what I ordered. So, yeah.
I think Morris orders.
Shout out to all the men who offer your girlfriend or your wife food.
Oh my God.
Or just let us take it. Sometimes we don't even offer, we just take it.
Yeah.
It's a sharing plate. It's a sharing plate. You're good.
I remember Morris and I were dating, and like I just ate off his plate, like we just did that, and my mom was so concerned, like, why are you eating up his food? I'm like, Mom, because this is what we do. Like, it's okay. Do you want something? I'll get it.
Do you want some too? Okay, so 2 more questions and then we're going to wrap it up. So all of you guys can answer, even the married women. What were your fears prior to getting married, or for the single women, what are your fears when thinking about spending the rest of your life being married to someone? What fears do you have?
Mine was, I cannot be poor. Like, we cannot struggle. Finances have to be stable. Like, that is so important to me, because growing up, my mom did the best she could for us. And we had amazing godfathers who spoiled us. But I just needed my kids to have the stability of, if they wanted to play sports, like, that's not their concern of, they can't play because we can't afford the uniform and the shoes. Like, that was my biggest. And then just not knowing what to expect. Like, we went through marriage counseling. I knew we would, but like, how do I make this successful and not end in divorce? Like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to have multiple marriages. Like, I'm not, like, I didn't want to. That's why I never wanted to do it ever. So when Morris proposed, like, I laughed, and I don't even know if I finally answered him, but shoot, I was just scared of everything. Like, oh my gosh, how do I take care of a man? Like, so that was mine.
I think I would add on to that, like piggyback on that. Definitely the fear of like not wanting to be poor. I think that's a big driver in our marriage right now. But also, that it didn't work. I always said that I wanted a family, but I wanted it to be real. Growing up, like, my parents are still together, but it's not like like they ain't next to each other. It's that situation where they don't really believe in divorce, but they're not together, but they're sleeping in separate rooms. I don't want that. I've seen how that looked, you know. And so when I met my husband, that was my first time seeing, like, wow, they're married. They've been married for 20 years and they like each other. Like, they like each other, tolerate each other, they're laughing. It's real. And so seeing that, like, that really gave me hope. Like, man, I want that. And, you know, I clinged on to that. And we often talk about, like, our expectations for our family and what that looks like. And so that was reassurance for me to help me get through that fear that I had, because I didn't want to be like my parents. And that's something that I always used to say whenever we would get in arguments, it would get scary. I'd be like, no, this is too much like too much like my childhood, too much like my family, my parents. No. But he was reassured, like it will happen. Like I always tell myself, my clients, like, there will be disappointments in relationships, but it's how you handle it. And we've learned to kind of handle that appropriately, respectfully, and we've been able to get through that. And so I would definitely say no. You know, anything that reminds me of childhood triggers.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was running from it.
Yeah.
Like
having someone that will work through that with you.
I like that. Oh. So, Kivi, I like the fact that you said, are you recognizing that your childhood is still present in how you're dealing with your relationship now? I think it's very important as women, as we grow older, and even in our relationships, that we recognize those points and we just don't shy from them. One thing that so I'm not married, but one thing that concerns me about marriage is that I'm going to lose myself in the marriage, you know, because I've seen just about, like, from other people, like, the women kind of lose herself because, you know, she's married, so she has to tend to her husband. She has her kids, so she has to tend to her children. And then in the midst of that, she kind of gets lost. So when her kids get older, she doesn't really know who she is or what she wants to be. So I never want to, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I don't want to lose myself, you know, trying to make other people happy when I get married. That's my biggest concern. So those are like childhood things that I'm like recognizing as an adult. And then when I enter into a marriage with my boo, whoever that is, you know, that's something that him and I are going to talk about.
I would say my fear is the fear of it getting boring. Like, you hear so many couples who, like, the number one thing that a lot of divorce lawyers hear when they have clients and all of that is, we still love each other, we just grew apart. And it's like, there's something in that marriage that had to be breaking down prior to when you guys started drifting apart, but neither one of you guys talked about it. So I guess my fear would be, because I'm introverted, but I'm also extroverted. Like, if I go out, I can be very extroverted, be the life of the party, be all of that. But at the end of the day, my comfort is my home. Like, it's where I recharge, I rejuvenate. My spirit is the happiest when I'm in my house. Like, it's like I have everything here. Like, 2020 was awesome for me because I love being in the house. So that is my fear. I was talking to Mara last night and I was like, I don't want to end up where my husband gets bored with me because I enjoy my own company. Like, I have the type of boyfriend who is introverted too. And so his idea of chilling and hanging out is being in the house. But at some point, being in the house 24/7 with the same person for the rest of your life, I mean, in 2020, a lot of people had to deal with that because jobs were starting to shut down, or jobs were forcing people to work from home and doing all that other stuff. So a lot of couples didn't really get that break time away from each other where they can go out and they could hang out with friends and do their own thing and have fun aside from being together. Like, they were forced to deal with their issues head on in the house together. So I guess my fear would be not having the right tools to keep the passion. I mean, even when it deals with sex, you know, there's so many women or so many men who talk about the bedroom being boring. I don't want my bedroom to be boring, but I don't want to be like everybody else who jumping off ceilings and stuff. Cause I'm not at that level where I can be hanging from the ceiling and doing all this other stuff. Like,
Yeah,
no.
you can hang from the chandelier.
The shower pole.
Yeah, just get a pole up in that bedroom, girl.
But it's like keeping everything exciting. Like now we're long distance, so we have to find dates that we both are engaged in, that we both would enjoy doing. And that has been a struggle, but it's also been very fun because it allows us to create intimacy without actually being together. So, or in the same physical space. So, I mean, if I can do that, thank God for all the therapists in the world and counselors, because maybe they can help me with when I'm married, bringing passion and keeping it exciting, because it can get boring after a while.
Well, I think that you guys are in a unique position because so many people don't know how to build intimacy without it being physical. And if you can build intimacy without it being physical, that's an amazing foundation. And to be creative, like, I don't feel like I know that is your fear and I cannot take away from your fear, but I just feel like that's not an issue because you're being creative. You guys are thinking outside of the box, and that's how you've built the foundation of your relationship. So it will continue to grow and blossom in that way, in my opinion.
I agree.
Intimacy is.
You can get through long distance relationships.
Yeah.
You can really make it, because distance often ruins relationships. Like sometimes it ruins it, but sometimes it makes it, and you build upon it, and it makes that quality time when you're in person much more valuable.
I agree. I prefer long distance relationships. Like, I want to miss him, you know. Oh, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to miss him. I don't want him all in my space 100% of the time. Like let me miss you. Okay.
Funny story. Funny story. And I do talk too much too. Madison's name, she's literally named after Madison, Wisconsin, because my husband and I, once we graduated college, we weren't married at the time, but we had to have a long distance relationship. And in my mind, because there you go, childhood traumas again, I was like, there's no way that this is gonna work. You know, like all type of insecurities started to come in and flood my mind. But we made it. And I told her that if we ever have a daughter, Madison, like you being in Madison made me realize how much I wanted this. And it grew our relationship. There she go talking.
She's like, that's right. That's right.
Madison.
And so I said, if I ever had a daughter, she would be named Madison because of that.
I love that.
I know.
Hold on. Okay, Disney, where your sign?
That's right.
Oh, if only y'all knew how they actually got together, boy.
That's a Disney love right there.
Boy, old Disney story.
Can she share? Or is that
That's what the next, share. Lakeithia, share.
So
we got time.
I'm gonna share my version.
Get my water.
You know, Dwight tells it, it's always something. But it was that winter storm, real bad snowstorm. This would have to be in 2008. And we were traveling back to Chicago, and I was like following behind him, and I just got my new Kia Rio, and I was so excited about it. I'm like, I'm driving home. He was like, oh, you could trail me, blah, blah, blah. And so there was this truck, and it spent out, and I saw it, so I freaked out. So I naturally spent out as well. And so he sees me spin out in the rear view of his mirror. He stops his car, and it's quite a distance because he's also trying not to spin out as well. So then he runs back to the car. Like, he just runs back to my car.
Oh, Mark.
Oh my
I'm gonna write that.
He does, but and I see it and I'm crying.
I'm gonna just put
like,
Disney.
oh my God. So he finally gets to me. He opens the door. He's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, my life just flashed before my eyes because I was like in the right lane going north and I spent out going the other direction. But I didn't get, thank God, praise God. And he waited there until someone came to help, like the tow truck came to help because my dad was going to come get my car. And so then after that, he would tell you that I like forced this kiss, but I did not. It was like that romantic Disney where I was like, this is my Disney moment. This is my Disney moment.
It does exist and it is real.
Disney. So, and then we kissed and he was like, okay, I gotta go. And so we started like dating after that.
Oh, I love that.
It was like slow motion. Like
Yeah,
Time stood still.
So cute.
The heavens open and the angels sang.
yeah.
I know, right?
I love that.
Remember that episode of Martin when him and Gina had to talk about how they met and both of their versions were different. So all of our mutual friends, when they told us the story, we start coming up with our own stories.
Did y'all know each other? Like y'all were just friends?
We did. We knew each other. We were friends. We were all like in this group.
Y'all was in the big hand crew.
We already like had like some mutual like connections, but I'm like, I think I like you. I'm not sure. See how
got it. I love that.
Solidified it. Like I knew at that moment.
You feel like, oh yeah.
He was like, I almost lost her. I have to let her know.
Yeah, Sade. Yes.
Smooches.
Oh, that's sweet. I love it. Dang, that's nice.
I don't have a Disney story.
Sade, put the sign up.
Oh, Disney, sorry. Disney.
Oh my gosh, guys are so.
Lakeithia stole.
No one can top that.
Next question, please. Next question.
Disney. I'm not coming back no more. I'm done.
Leaving the meeting.
I left. Hold on. I left.
Well, ladies, this has been an awesome podcast. I do have one final question for the married women on the podcast.
Oh, I can leave then. All right.
No, don't leave.
This is precious, Tamara. This is super.
I ain't got nothing to say. I'm just gonna let you answer.
I don't know. You've been married longer. You got more wisdom.
I was gonna say you still young and fresh in your marriage, so you got the best response.
I know.
Oh my God. So the last question is, what is some nuggets that you would give to single women who aspire to be married or want to be married? Like, what advice would you give them as far as what to look for, what to expect, but just some nuggets that we could take away from?
I would say that it's one, if you're dating, like have those important conversations now. And if you don't see that in that relationship, like dating, you're not going to see that in marriage. And oftentimes women get into marriage thinking like, oh, he'll develop that once we get married. That's not true. You know, that's something that you need to talk about. If that's the expectation, we talked about expectation and preferences. If that's a must-have, have that conversation before you walk down the aisle. It's not going to magically appear like, ta-da, because I married you. I'm going to, and learn to be vulnerable and you want to feel that. I like the fact that Sade brought up the idea of safe. If you don't feel safe dating, you're not going to feel safe in a marriage. And trust your instinct. If we're having red flags and you do not feel that, marriage is not going to change that. Marriage is a dating, but with more expectations, and it's solidified with a partnership and some legal documents. But also there's this idea of like commitment. Like you committed yourself that no matter like what happens, we're gonna work through this under the eyes of God, and we're gonna move forward past that. And you have to have that before you go into it, before you walk down that aisle. So that's what I would say.
Shoot, I ain't got nothing to say. She said it. I'll just add, like, oh, that was so good. My dad told me when I was dating, I've had 2 boyfriends, like legit, and I married the second one. And he said, Jane, what you see is what you get. So what you experience now in your dating experience with Morris is what you will experience in your married world. And to have those hard, uncomfortable conversations, like we friends tell us, like, man, like, how do y'all just say that to each other? And it's in front of people or behind closed doors. Like, I'm like, because this is my husband. Like, if I cannot be 100 with him, I can't be 100 with you. Like, it's just what you see is what you get. And just make sure you have the conversations of kids before you get married and a timeline that you want to have these kids, because it can cause a rift in the marriage. Like, some people will date somebody and be with somebody for all these years, but they make sure you have the same morals and values. Our pastor, our subject, I guess, series that she's doing is called Relationships, something, I don't even know what it's called. But one thing she talked about today, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna use this on a call, was just how important it is to have the same morals and values and to speak the same language and just to have commonalities. And to, like, it's common sense, you would think, but I don't know if people think like they can change people when they get married, or I don't know. But like, this is the person that he was when y'all was dating. Like, why are you surprised now? And now you're crying and you're stuck. Like, it's so easy to go get your marriage license. Like, anybody can go get a marriage license as long as you're of age. It takes what, 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes? You can go to the justice of peace and you're married. But to get out of that marriage, it's so expensive. It's so much work. And my best advice is to date. Like, keep dating, keep pursuing each other, keep having fun. We're very, very fortunate because we have a lot and have married friends that are in every stage of marriage. But make sure you have married friends too, because it's vital to have a core group of people that is in the same life journey with you. Like, we've been very fortunate to have some very good, like, I still have some of my friends that are married. Like, I don't have single friends. I have all kind of friends, married, single, gay, straight, like, just all kind of friends. And I remember Sade mentioned earlier about losing yourself. I think it's vital to have that time where you can go with girlfriends or go to dinner by yourself. Like, it's so important to do those things that you're doing now. And we went to a parenting conference yesterday, and what a single mom said, like, they're like, well, how do you be a single parent, da da da. And she was like, the same stuff you were doing when you're before you had this kid, like, you still need that time to yourself. Like, you're still a human being. And one of the things that they said, Lakeithia, in the marriage series, because we went to that one, keeping your kids come second, like, the quote that they said, y'all, and I was like mind blown, was, this is our home. This is our house. The kids are just strangers there. I was like, oh my God. Dang, that's harsh. But it's so true. Like, they literally are growing up to get out. And then what have we done to continue to build this relationship? Like, the world tells us our kids come first. Like, you got to bow down to these kids. Your life evolves around these kids. No, we come first. And we will continue to grow and evolve. And we're going to teach them to have a healthy relationship. And that when we're talking, they need to be quiet and all of those things. Like, so that's what I would say in a nutshell. To all my single people, it's a lot of work, and you're bringing 2 lives together who has a different lifestyle, different baggage, and none of that stuff goes away. Like, you need to realize, like, I love how Lakeithia, like, okay, this is a trigger from childhood. And like, it's important because those do come up. And I was talking to a girlfriend, sorry, y'all, Friday. And we talked about triggers, like for people that have been raped, like triggers, if you've been raped, sometimes it may happen. Like, you may have a trigger when you're having intimacy with your husband. Like, how do you deal with that? Like, there's so many layers that people are afraid to talk about in marriage, but it's real and it exists and it does not go away because you like it, you put a butter ring on, like you put a ring on it, and now I'm this fairy princess. Like, no, we're human and life happens. And the same way you dated him, wooed him, like, keep doing that, because Becky with the good hair gonna try and come just as equally for men. Like, they need to keep their weight up because we are attractive women. We do have needs. We do need to, whatever our languages are, we need to be spoken into those ways. So it's vital, men and women. All the men listening, like what you did to get her, make sure you continue to do that, because she is attractive. She is smart. She is funny. And we spend, when COVID doesn't exist, we spend 10 hours out of our home a day. If you think about it, you spend maybe 4 hours. I spend 2 hours with my kids during the week, every night, if I get home at 6 o'clock. And then I have to divulge some time to this man. So, like, we have to be intentional about our time together. Okay, I'm done.
So I like that. You said that. That is so true. That idea of being intentional when you're
give her Disney.
you have to be intentional, like, because there, all our quality time is planned and intentional. Yeah. We just went to where did we go? Houston, Texas for his birthday. And it was spontaneous, but we did it, and we realized, like, wow, we needed that me time.
Yes.
And the idea of, like, what you did when you were dating, keep doing that. I always, like, we're dating each other. If you got a role play in that marriage, right. You have fun. You be yourself, because that ultimately becomes your best friend. Like, you have your girlfriends in your friend group, which is important. We decided that we were gonna have our friend time. Like, we're gonna have like our friends take a trip every year, or we tried to before COVID, right? But that's our friend time. You still be you, but recognize, like, that's important, because we do get, like, wrapped up in the whirlwind of, like, work, come home, tending to the kids, and then tending to your husband and your mates, and then then we go to sleep and we do it all over again, right? So it's so important that we have that time with our friends, and we do what we need, that self-care. That self-care. Still love you, still be you, but recognizing that that's just an additional part of who you are.
Bonus, yep.
And she just makes you greater. Or she makes you greater, for all the men. Or whoever, your partner makes you greater.
We all great.
Yep.
Hey. Hold on, Disney. That's
it. That's all we got.
No, because y'all both spoke some, like, beautiful truths in y'all messaging. So I do appreciate it. So thank you so much.
I am so grateful that I have a group of friends who are all awesome, career-minded, go-getters. Half of you guys are married. Half of you guys are going to be there one day, the rest of us. And it's so amazing when we can all come together, share experiences, be vulnerable, and just be in community. Because it's so important that we as women remain in community with each other. Because you hear so much about women who be like, oh, well, I don't have female friends, or I can't do this, or I don't mess with women like that. But I'm so grateful to have a group of friends that I could call when I need advice, call who just want to listen, call to just chat and be crazy with. Like, you guys are my people, and I so thank you for that. I also thank you guys for giving me your time and just being with me on today. I know it's Super Bowl, so thank you guys so much. I love you all, and you guys can now Go be with your husbands, families, daughters, Disney moments, Animal Crossing. Like, go do it all. Go chill.
Houston, we got a problem. Who at fault when you fall with your heart, man? Shooting stars through the dark, who the spark when your car didn't start and you stuck at the apartment. Hold on me by the skin of your teeth. Hold on me, wanna live, gotta reach. Roll on me, but we picking up speed. What's real, can't tell, it must be a secret. Plan to be the man to see what fantasy worth. I cannot leave, I gotta put the family first. Ain't